The whole purpose of universities, especially research universities like ours, is to study, analyze, interpret, debate, and address complex problems. We come before you tonight to provide precisely such analysis and debate. The whole purpose of a public university is to conduct our teaching and research for the public good. And by that, I mean contributing to social mobility, producing new knowledge, and promoting service. The University of California, and Berkeley's campus in particular, is ranked as the leading university in the country in terms of contributing to the public good. One of the unique features is the historical development, of the University of California. Something that distinguishes it from other major public research universities is our unusual status as a constitutionally designated public trust, a designation shared by only 5 other major public universities. Public trust, a defining feature of democracy, is based on this premise. Within the public lies the true power and future of our society. Students, you are that future. The job of faculty is to prepare you for that future. But our ability to do so at this moment is seriously jeopardized by the systemic, long-term defunding of public education in the state of California. This defunding extends across all levels from kindergarten through college. How can California be ranked among the lowest in the nation in terms of spending on public education? How can we spend $49,000 per prison inmate and less than $14,000 per UC student? Thank you for that. You will face more complex and rapidly changing circumstances than perhaps any generation before you. You will have to think outside the box. You will need to not only to understand existing paradigms, you will also need to invent new ones. You will need not only to possess advanced critical thinking skills so that you can cut to the heart of complex, seemingly intractable problems quickly, you will also need tremendous imagination and creativity in order to envision viable and effective solutions. It is precisely to address such enormous challenges that the University of California, one of the premier research institutions in the United States, prepares its students. The University of California is designated by the Carnegie Classification of Institutions of Higher Education as a research university with very high research productivity. This means that the faculty who teach your classes do the very thing that you are going to need to do for your future. We create new knowledge and find original solutions to difficult, multifaceted problems. We don't just recycle old ideas in our classrooms and through our research. We actively participate in the making of new knowledge, and we do so with you, our students, as both our audience and our collaborators. The crisis before us is large and complicated, with short-term and long-term implications. In the short term, we are coping with an $813 million deficit during the current fiscal year. All predictions are that next year will be even worse. This has led to a dramatic increase in student fees, faculty and staff pay reductions, and the eliminations of jobs and award-winning programs that contribute to the state. These cuts are real, painful, and felt by every student who must work 10 more hours a week to pay for those increased fees, or who can't get classes she needs because so many have been canceled. These cuts are felt by every staff member who can no longer afford to pay both rent and medical bills, by every lecturer whose lack of job security is now that much more acute, and by every assistant professor who works 60 hours per week and makes $19.26 an hour after 22 years of education and training. These economic conditions are real, but they are just part of a much bigger story. Although these manifestations of our crisis garner our present attention, in the long run, its most troubling, they are not in the long run its most troubling and significant dimensions. What is at stake here? Number one, at stake is the value of your degree and prestige of the institution that will grant it. And when I say value, I mean partly economic value evidenced in the actual dollars you will earn because you receive such a high-quality degree from such a highly respected institution. But I am also talking about value in terms of the intellectual capacity this particular college education gives you, and the way Berkeley's world-renowned faculty and their commitment to teaching, research, and public service cultivates the abilities and skills our citizens need to meet the challenges of the present and the future. A university's reputation takes decades to build, but it can be eroded in a very short time. The University of California will be at the top of your resumes for the rest of your life. You are shareholders in this institution's present and future. You, along with alumni, faculty, administrators, and the regents, must be vigilant trustees of its reputation. Also at stake is the fundamental question of whether we believe that within the public lies the true power and future of our society. What does it mean to be a public institution? The UC's status as a public trust means that we depend on the state to provide resources so that we can educate its citizens across the whole socioeconomic spectrum. But this trust has been seriously undermined as public funding of the UC has declined. The state's per-student spending for education at the UC, adjusted for inflation and enrollment growth, has fallen nearly 40% since 1990. Is such a decrease necessary? Are these cuts inevitable given the current economic climate? Many of us, before you here tonight, perhaps all of us, believe that these cuts are neither necessary nor inevitable. If the University of California privatizes, this will mean that we will become a university of predominantly wealthy students, those whose families have the fiscal capacity to foot the bill. This will also mean our student body will become much more homogeneous, certainly socioeconomically, but also racially, ethnic, and in so many other regards. This results in a type of segregation, and segregation is never good. Your education and the reputation of your degree will be impoverished by the loss of a defining feature of the University of California, the breathtaking diversity of its students. And the state of California will be impoverished by its citizens will be far less prepared to address the challenges we will surely face in the coming decades. Is the present moment unprecedented? We hear a lot of talk about unprecedented circumstances. We are currently experiencing a 20% drop in state funding, which is certainly a significant sum. However, during the Great Depression, the University of California weathered an even worse economic storm. There was a 26% decrease in funding from the state. Our system of shared governance, which is another unique and defining feature of the University of California, was instrumental in leading the UC out of the Great Depression. Shared governance ensures that there is extensive faculty enfranchisement in the university's operations. We need faculty to have a strong voice in shaping the future and vision of the University of California. What is perhaps without precedent at this moment is the degree and nature of mobilization efforts of all the UC campuses, with coalitions across the traditional fault lines that divide staff and faculty, undergraduate and graduate students, one campus from another, one union from another. I would venture to guess that this united coalition of solidarity is unprecedented. It is also deeply inspiring. My esteemed colleagues and students who are assembled here tonight, the innovative, world-renowned faculty who the University of California has spent decades attracting and adding to its ranks, the capable staff who make all our operations from admissions to facilities run smoothly and efficiently, and most of all, you, the talented, curious, innovative, and astonishingly diverse students of the University of California. Together, we are the solution to the present crisis. Working together, I believe we can convince the public, your parents, your neighbors, our legislators, our governor, the regents, the UC regents, and perhaps even a few misguided UC administrators, that the fundamental features of the University of California's identity are accessibility, affordability, democratic processes, public trust with the people of California, and our commitment to research, teaching, and public service are not only worth preserving, but they are actually the road to a secure, prosperous, and humane future for the state of California and the nation. Our present economic crisis is neither inevitable nor permanent. I do research in Africa, and I want to share with you a Nigerian Yoruba proverb. They say no condition is permanent. Remember that as you listen to the rest of our speakers tonight and think and learn about these issues and take action in the coming weeks. Thank you.